In my 15 years of FPS experience, I think I tried everything to improve. And it was only recently, when I was trying to hit Voltaic Masters for the second time, that I realized I've been training wrong this entire time. Let me tell you the story about how I figured that out, and then how I fixed it. Welcome to Shotty's Yap Session, Episode 7, also known as the greatest background noise. Now, a lot of people say, you're lying, it's impossible. In 15 years, you didn't realize that you were training wrong, or are you just an idiot? Now, you might be right a little bit, but it took me so long because everything works. Everyone talks about, oh, you need to do the perfect way, or you need to do it like this to improve. But you can see improvement by doing anything, especially because if you're really bad at something, the only way is up. So even if you're doing garbage, it doesn't matter. You can still get improvement. You can still get better than a lot of people. Anyways, let me start telling you that story. Now, this experience, it taught me 2, maybe 3 big things. One of them was, there's a million ways to learn the same skill. You can improve by just doing anything, not just doing something correctly. But then I had to figure out how to do it correctly. So I decided, especially for this new Spectre Divide launch, I was aim training. And I hopped on Spectre Divide, and I realized a few things that day. Because I was only about 1 point off of 800 energy, which is Voltaic Masters. Which I think I still am 1 point off, because I was like, you know what? Hell with this. It irritated me, so I was like, I quit. I'll go back and get it one of these days. It's only 1 point. But that day, I'm like, okay, my aim feels great. I'm feeling warm. And I hop on Spectre Divide. And this was the launch day. So I was like, yes, we're going to destroy everybody. This is going to go great. And I sucked. And it was like, even when I was playing, sometimes I would notice it almost felt just like the aim trainer I just did. But I was like, why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? Now, before I tell you what I learned from it, if you guys are interested on why you are better at DMs or why you're better at aim trainers than you are at real games, I'm doing a video on that. And that'll be my next video. So make sure you subscribe for that. But after I did all that aim training, I sucked at Spectre Divide. I was like, something's wrong. Let me figure it out. So I went to go play some maps on Kovacs. I think I played 5-sphere hipfire. I played extra small. I played a few maps like that. But then I did extra small on 5-sphere hipfire or 6-sphere. And I realized that after I ended that map, the high score I got was 100% accuracy, or 98. Then I went into a real match, and my aim was better. I was like, wait a minute, what's wrong? Why did that work? So I had to mess around with some new things. And I tried to do regular hipfire, and then I played a match, and I realized my aim sucked again. And I realized that we condition ourselves to miss. Now, you might say, what are you talking about? We condition ourselves to miss. The whole point of aim training is we don't. But when you aim train, how often do you get 100% accuracy? How often are you shooting the same way you would shoot if you had limited ammo? How often are you aim training the way you play in a real match? And I realized that it's so simple. How did we not realize this? How did I not see this? But unfortunately, this realization only worked for clicking maps, or maps that you could get 100% accuracy. So I had to figure out, well, what about tracking? How do I improve my tracking, or how do I track like this in a real match? I'll share with you what I figured out in a second, but first let me finish up on clicking. Now, for clicking, what I would do is one of 2 things. I would play maps that forced me into getting 100% accuracy, so really small targets, or targets that I can't just flick and have high confidence that I'm going to hit it. Or I played maps that were just normal, and I focused on getting 95, 98% accuracy. Now, this isn't the best for high scores sometimes. This isn't the best for certain things, but it is the best for translating to real matches. Because we always just sit there and say, I'll click. But then when we go into real matches, we do the same thing. We think it's okay to just miss. When in a real match, you miss and it's over. There's no room for missing. You have to hit every shot, or the other person will. Now, for tracking, I realized that I couldn't just do this. So I had to play in a specific way that would teach me how to track. So I tried everything. I messed around with Fugula XYZ. I tried track stop. I did a lot of different things. And there were 2 things that really worked. First thing, if I want to just in general make tracking feel easy for me, I would do maps that I only had 20% accuracy on. Now, this was really common sense to me, because it was like, well, if I just do maps that I can't handle, I'll improve, because that's just how our bodies work. But I realized that the way I'm tracking these bots, I'm never in a real match just throwing my mouse, oh, 20 accuracy, 20 accuracy, 20 accuracy. It's usually more controlled. It's more like it's slower. I'm trying to hit the shot in a more controlled fashion. So I also had to work in not just maps that were too hard for me to improve my overall reactivity and skill. I had to incorporate maps that were like real games. I incorporated maps that were so slow or so normal that I could just hit them when they strafed. Now, for the really hard map, I can't give you guys that. You have to choose any maps. For example, Fugal XYZ, Track Stop, or Air Angelic. Any of those 3 maps, you can increase the difficulty by looking through Kovacs and finding harder versions. But I had to design my own playlist that would work for real matches, that looked like real players strafing or something that I've seen in a real match. So I had to build my own playlist for that. But on top of that, I had to teach myself to pay attention when I'm playing a real game. How do I track? Do I track with my arm? Do I track with my wrist? And I had to play maps that I track that exact same way. Meaning that if I go into a match and I track with only my wrist, why would I track with my arm in a name trainer if I'm just trying to get better at the game? So we need to also be able to make note of that and realize that we're doing this a little different. We need to pay attention to that. So I'm going to leave you guys a playlist in the description of some of the maps that I used to translate my tracking into real games. If you want to learn anything about aim, check out my other YAP sessions. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a good one. God bless you.